Hi guys, sorry if I'm going live so much, but I just have something I want to talk about. Thanks for watching if you do. How you guys doing and all that. Um, I want to talk about shredding. I want to talk about it from a no stone unturned point of view. So shredding is cool and funny. See, when you start out, at least for me, and I think that my case is valid. Because when you start out, you don't know how to alternate pick. You don't know how to alternate pick, so you just kind of do mostly legato with your left hand. And when you pick, you just and then when you pick, if you pick, you usually just do downstrokes when you can, and then do the rest hammer-ons and pull-offs. And then you might tap, because that's just like fingering with both hands. That's not any different than tapping. Isn't really that different from fingering with the left hand. It's just doing the same thing on a different hand. Slightly different, but basically the same thing. You're just fretting with your right hand. And that gives you some speed. And then, of course, you got the legato thing, because you don't really know how to alternate pick when you first start. At least I didn't. And then it's like a wheel, because then after 13 years of playing, I finally just figured out alternate picking. I had a dream, a weird thing, and woke up and I just suddenly I realized how to alternate pick. I didn't know it was called alternate picking. I didn't even know it was downstroke, upstroke. I didn't even know which stroke. I didn't know which stroke was down and which stroke was up, even if I would have known if it was downstroke, upstroke. But anyway, I discovered alternate picking. And then that became my thing, and I practiced it really good. And then you follow the picking with your left hand. Usually you play one note fretted per pick. Otherwise, it's like the tremolo effect, where you play, many notes of the same note and slide it up and down. But usually it's one picked note for one fretted note with the left hand, and then you just sync the two hands up, and then move from string to string. And then you get better at that, and suddenly you can shred. But then it's like I said, it's like a wheel. Hey, good to see you guys. Rock and roll. Good to see you. Good to see you. You guys want to pick? You guys want to pick, or you're good? You're good? Good to see you. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you. Yeah. Anyway, then you get really good at the picking. Then you're able to pick fast, and then one of the challenges is not to pick faster and play faster with it, but also then there's also a challenge involved with keeping the rhythm of it right. You want to know if you're doing triplet feel, or sextuplet feel, or 16th note feel, or 32nd note feel, or even quintuplet feel, or even septuplet feel. But whatever, you want to know the rhythm of what you're doing. And then finally it comes back around to a big wheel at times. You really get at picking, but then you remember, oh yeah, but picking's not the only option with shredding. You can also do legato. You can also not pick some of the time, even though you could and can. Sometimes you want a smoother sound. Think Richie Kotzen, in his video in 1990, Rock Shops. Shredder par excellence, and he didn't even always pick. He did a lot of legato with his just left hand. And then he did some tapping, and then he did some sweeping, and then lo and behold, he really can alternate pick too. He just likes the legato thing, and he likes the sound, the smooth sound of that, and there's nothing wrong with that. So you go back to what you don't forget how to alternate pick, but you can go back a little bit to when you didn't know how to alternate pick, and just do some more legato stuff if you want for that sound, which is also shredding, because you're doing it fast notes. Shredding is fast notes. It doesn't say how you have to play them. So, and then don't forget, Paul Gilbert in one of his videos explained, or maybe it was just a comment in a magazine. He said it's not. Oh, maybe it was. I seem to remember him watching him say it. But anyway, he said to not alternate pick all the time and do hammer-ons and pull-offs is not cheating. It's still shredding if you just want that sound. And then don't forget Joe Satriani. He doesn't even. Joe barely knows how to alternate pick, if he even does. And yet he's a great player, and he's considered one of the faster players. He could be called a shredder too. But he hardly ever alternate picks. And then lastly, think of Alan Holdsworth, maybe the greatest guitar player that ever lived, and he hardly ever picked. In fact, my teacher, Tom Franks, when I was taking lessons, and he turned me on to Al DeMille and Alan Holdsworth at the same time, and so I got into those guys, especially Alan Holdsworth. He said that Alan Holdsworth sounds like he never picks. That's what my teacher described his sound as. It sounds like he never picks, and it turns out he hardly ever does. So don't forget the legato thing if you want. And I'm gonna be revisiting that some in my playing, I think, because not everything has to be the picking sound. It's a really good sound. It doesn't have to be the only thing I do. I can do legato shredding as well, and that's why I called this No Stone Unturned. And it's like a wheel. You start out with legato, then you learn how to pick, and then you go back to legato when you want to. So it's like a big wheel. You hear a legato player like Satriani plays a little bit like a guy that doesn't know how to pick. That's more of a beginner, but yet he's not. Joe Satriani is not a beginner. It's kind of a wheel. So love you guys. Peace, rock and roll.